My name is John Beethan. I'm the producer and sometimes co-host for Alternative Health Tools, which was started in 2014 with Lisa Thorpe. It's a longer story, but what this is all about is we're bringing on two new co-hosts. These are real troublemakers. It's Leslie Kasanoff and Angie Ates. And
that would
then
be Leslie, not Lisa.
Did I say Leslie Kasanoff?
Yeah,
You did.
You're mixing the two of us up. I like it.
Excuse me, I'll be right back. I'm going to do some more CBD oil. So it's Leslie Kasanoff, and she's a DR, and we know what that means. And then you can see Lisa Victoria there. She's in the UK. And you can listen to whatever episode on alternativehealthtools.com to find out more about Lisa. She's our angel in the room, for sure. That's a long story how we met. But anyway, I wanted to make introductions, and I'm happy to not talk too much because Lisa and I met when she was here in California in Carlsbad at a First Friday breakfast, I think it was, and we found ourselves at a table of 6. And when she opened her mouth and started talking, I swear to God, I thought there was an angel speaking, because of the way she is. And she says, yeah, I get that a lot. So we had a conversation, and I was looking for somebody that wanted to jump into the opportunity, and she did, and it's just been fabulous. And then Leslie and Angie, I'm not sure. Leslie and I have known each other for a couple of years because we're in a networking group at Mary Kravitz's WatchUsThrive.com, which is a fabulous network. And then Angie, you came through, I can't remember his name. Somebody recommended you.
Yes, I was on your other podcast.
Right, which that episode is yet to be released, but it will be. But and so Leslie and Angie have been working together, and we have episodes basically worked out all the way through the new year. And then Lisa, of course, has been throwing new episodes into the works too, and unfortunately fortunately those will end up after the first of the year as well. But do introductions of yourself. Like I said, I'm John Beethan, the producer and the president of Imagine Podcasting. I'll let whoever wants to go first go.
I'll go.
Amazing.
I'll start it. So I'm Angie Ates, and I'm all about the business of integrative and functional medicine. That's what I do, and I love. I've trained over 10,000 practitioners, integrative functional practitioners internationally. I've worked with over 5,000 of my own clients in my own integrative centers. And I have an online program, and it's a multifaceted program. It's the Institute of Holistic Integrative Studies, where we have a practitioner academy, a business academy, and then our membership. So I am all things the business of integrated functional medicine. I believe that every person in the world deserves an integrative approach to their health care, where I teach the 4 pillars. I believe that every practitioner, clinician, doctor, whatever title you want to call yourself, deserves a sustainable income, which, most individuals in that profession are not entrepreneurs. They haven't had that entrepreneur training, and they tend to be burnout and broke, and I'm on a mission to fix that. And then I also believe that we need a group, which we do, a membership of unconditional love, supportive, celebrating, collaborative professionals that just want to make the world better. And while doing that, make our life better and create income doing it. So that's what I do. And I live in the Midwest of the United States. And that's what I do. I love it. That's my purpose and passion.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like you don't fool around.
I don't fool around at all. You'll notice on our podcast that Leslie and I do, I am just like boom, 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 boom. This is what we're doing. This is what you need. This is what's going to do for you. This is what we want you to do next. And yeah, that's me. 20 years in corporate America. That's how I was raised. And that's, it's business with a little love splash. I mean, there's love.
You offer a great service for those people coming out of school, younger people typically, that just haven't really a clue how to run their business.
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. All right, so who's next? I'm not calling out. I'm going to let you guys just jump in.
So I'm Lisa Victoria, and I've got to follow Angie on that. So I'm across the other side of the pond in the UK, and I was born and raised in Wales on a farm, so had my welly boots on. And I started off life as an accountant. So how do I go from an accountant to a holistic intuitive health coach? Really, it was part of my journey, and was on burnout in corporate, and I kept stumbling across all these alternative health tools along my way, and I thought these really work, and I integrated them into my life. And then I found my purpose, a little bit like Angie was talking about my purpose in life. I was very much a square peg in a round hole in the corporate world, and I wanted to shine my light bright and help more people. So I qualified as a holistic health coach and nutritionist, but with a specialist in mindset. So I'm really passionate about showing people how to access their heart voice, to really truly shine and live the life that they deserve, and to tap into that message from their heart, because often we live in our heads, and the answers aren't in our heads, they're in our hearts, and we can follow our guidance from there. So I work with the doctor's surgery locally, but I also have my own private clients. I'm creating an online course at the minute, and that's going to be launched in the new year when my book comes out live. So I've got my wonderful four-legged friend, Lord Louis, who has been an inspiration to me, and we've created a book together. So it's a book on Be Happy Now, and it's an enlightening tale of hope, guidance and self-love through the eyes of an earth angel dog. So Lord Louis takes us on a journey as to how we can love ourselves more and be more kind to ourselves and have some more hope for the future. So in a nutshell, that's me, John.
That's awesome. It actually, if I may, it reminds me, I don't remember what episode number, but a couple times we brought on Carrie Lake. She's really worth looking up on alternativehealthtools.com, the podcast, because she actually wrote a book called Listen Like a Horse, subtitled Relationships Without Dominance. She's the one, I think, that I first became aware of a line that basically says, the mind cannot understand the matters of the heart. So anyway, good for you, Lisa. Awesome. So let me see, who wants to go next? Leslie.
Well, I guess there's no one left. So I am Leslie Kasanoff, and I am a health coach and consultant, and I've morphed into that after 25 years of having a holistic chiropractic practice and 10 years before that as a medical lab scientist. And how did I go from a medical lab scientist to the other side of the fence, being a chiropractor and holistic practitioner? And that was basically out of an incident that happened where I had to assist in a bone marrow biopsy, and then later found out that the person that was having that procedure, that horrendous procedure done, wasn't even going to be treated for whatever was diagnosed. And it was like the light bulb went on, and I said, I can't do this because I have no power in the position that I'm in to affect a change in that paradigm. So I'm going to the other side of the fence, and I'm going to help people from having to get into that hospital bed in the first place. And so I went back to school, worked, like I said, 25 years in holistic chiropractic practice, and then through some of my own health experiences, kind of found this whole new realm of moved more into the health coaching and consulting, working mainly with women kind of in the perimenopausal time of life and beyond that. So that's basically what I'm doing at this point. And I've always had a real passion for everything that's related to living your life from more of a natural perspective. So that's me.
All right, introductions are done. So I'm going to actually ask either one of you, any of you, to basically just let us know a little bit about what has your attention in health and nutrition and all of that right now.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I would say for me, it's a combination of all the, let's say, garbage, for just a generic term, that's going on with COVID right now and the medical approach, and also the attempt by medicine to start doing their version of trying to bring coaching and consulting and a more proactive response to what's going on. And just having this kind of listening that for everything they've done in the past 100 years, I don't have a whole lot of confidence that they're going to do it well.
Okay.
But
That's a podcast.
remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tag off of that. So Leslie's referring to the CPT codes that have been approved last year, and then they were updated this year on health and wellness coaching on certain board certified programs that qualify for the CPT code. So they're really looking at that preventive care model. Again, that will be interesting to see. My big passion and focus is really empowering and equipping the person, everyone, to really take their healthcare back in their own hands. We've seen globally that it's a challenge, and I'm not going to get into the politics or anything else about the pandemic or anything. I'm just going to say that it's real, it's reality, but what we've learned is the power of the pause and to really what's important. I believe we needed a reset globally. I can speak on the US. We needed a reset big time. But I also believe that we're really being forced to look at those emotional triggers within and find out what really is the heart singing, as Lisa was referring to, right? What's really the heart singing? What's our real purpose? And taking our healthcare back and realizing that a pill for an ill, even natural pill for an ill, is not the answer anymore, but it's really owning your lifestyle and owning who you are and living in your purpose and your passion. And that's what's got my attention. And it also has got my drive, if you can't tell, of seriously wake up and realize that you were made for greatness, and what's it going to take to heal the past traumas, the generational traumas, because they're glaring at us energetically. If you look at astrology, biblically, if you look at Revelations, it's glaring at us right now. And what's got my attention is it's your chance to stand in your genius, and you want to really select the mentor and the group to help you take you there. So it's time to take our healthcare back in our own hands. That's what's got my attention, John.
Wow.
Well said, Angie.
Very
no
well
kidding.
said. No messing about again. And yeah, to follow on from that, I echo everything that's been said, and, empowering people to take back control of their health. And quite often when I'm working with patients in the surgeries, in the UK, we have a different model, and our NHS, our National Health Service, is it's a free healthcare service. So quite often patients, they'll present to the doctor expecting to be fixed. And my job as a health coach working with them is to empower them with the tools to prevent the health issues from occurring in the first place, and give them some tools to be able to take back that control of their health. But certainly something that's popping up at the minute that's really quite a passion of mine is what's happened over the last couple of years is people have had to slow down. They couldn't be human doings anymore. They've had to be human beings. They've not been able to go out, do. And what that's actually lifted and bubbled up in people that I'm seeing is lots of emotions from past traumas or past events that they now don't know how to channel or transition through or how to deal with them. And I'm really passionate about empowering people to use those emotions and move forward, a little bit like what Angie was saying about how to kind of step into your truth and step into, you were born to thrive, not just born to survive the 9 to 5. And that's something that I'm really passionate about at the moment, is getting people to open up to their heart voice and not try and keep the lid on emotions, because we're human beings, we're not human doings, and get people to step into their power and really, own that and own their health like we're talking about.
It sounds like what you're talking about, like everybody here is talking about, is just like wake up. Wake up.
Exactly.
Like, the gifts of the pandemic are slow down, And I still treat my health as if I was in lockdown in many respects. I have a home-based office and go out a little bit, but I'm careful. And I walk a lot. So I'll take breaks. I'll walk, I'll work for maybe an hour, hour and a half working on something or whatever, and then I'll go for a walk for like 10, 15 minutes. And it's just getting out and fresh air and that sort of thing. People have probably heard me say before, probably in the last 6 months, one of the ahas that really has helped me a lot is to understand that in terms of the learning process, we learn most not solely by our experiences, but by the contemplation of our experiences. And I think that's what's been going on for the last solid year, is people have been really contemplating their life, really contemplating, do they really want to be doing what they're doing, And I actually want to share something. I'm probably going to share it a little bit later on LinkedIn, but I listened to the Ezra Klein show, okay? So an episode he released a couple days ago, actually it was released today, which I listened to this morning, which was incredible, is titled The Case Against Loving Your Job. And he goes down the rabbit hole with Sarah Jaffe. And she's a journalist that basically writes about, the workforce. in labor. It's a good listen because there's been a lot of shifts in the last year in terms of what people have been doing because, one of the, in a sense, injustices we've gone through in the last year and a half or so is these, the workers that were designated, what was the designation they were given?
Essential workers?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Essential workers. We have put a lot of people into a very difficult situation. So these essential workers never had that time of contemplation. Plus, statistically, about 40% of the 600, 700,000 people that died here in the United States were all essential workers. These were people that were literally on the front lines. So I approach most of what my relationships are these days with a great amount of compassion because we have not a clue what people go through, have gone through, and continue to go through. We just don't know.
Yeah.
So compassionate care to me is really a part of it. And Lisa, I was going to ask you, it's like you want to empower people, Leslie and Angie too, to just take it back, take your own health back. So how do you do that with people? I mean, it's not so much what do you say, but how do you show up for other people to model that they can take their health back? How do you do that?
Simply for me, I share my story and my journey. I went from a 23-year-old at university with chronic fatigue syndrome diagnosed. I'd been under the doctors for 2 years, test after test after test. And in the end, the doctors just basically said, it's all in your head. Here's some antidepressants. You're going to end up in a wheelchair. And at the age of 23, I just felt like my whole life had been taken away from me, relationships, career, health. It was just all on a decline. And it was only through alternative health that I was able to get my life back. And that was from me taking control and finding alternative health practitioners who helped me through nutrition, helped me through, natural medicine, and through that mindset to know that I wasn't actually going mad. I just experienced a lot of antibiotics growing up that had decimated my gut health. And that's why I was experiencing a lot of fatigue. And no one had told me that through my whole medical journey. And that's part of the reason why I'm passionate about helping people take back control of their health is to know that there's a different way. And when I share my story, what that shares with people is hope. I'm 40 now and I'm not in a wheelchair and I'm the healthiest, happiest, most fulfilled version of myself that I could ever be. And I want to share that gift with other people to know that there's a different way. And I was listening to Angie and Leslie's podcast on homeopathy, and it's like, if I don't know the answers, then I'll refer to somebody who might know the answers, a specialist in that area. But as a holistic health coach, I'm there to almost triage them and to say, look, you don't have to live with this forever, whether it's a mental well-being condition or a physical well-being condition. And quite often my private clients, they'll come and they say, I feel stuck. And it's often their mindset that's holding them back. And it's like, you don't need antidepressants. We just need to do some coaching. Life happens to us all and we have no antiviral software on our lives. We're not taught this stuff at school. The iPads, the laptops have more antiviral software on them. But when life happens to us, we think we're broken and we need fixing. And I show them that they're not broken. They don't need fixing. They just need to go on a healing journey. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say very, very much the same thing from my perspective is walking your talk. For me, I've had my own health challenges and, I've used those challenges as well to learn what I needed to learn and make the changes that I did. I basically lost my gallbladder when I was slightly over 30 years old from eating crap. And nobody sitting down and saying, well, if you really changed your diet and cut out all that dairy and fat, that would never happen. Because I was looking at it, well, I don't eat meat, so where's it coming from? But it was coming from a ton of other crap that I was eating. Learning my own lessons along the way and incorporating change and being, I think I'm the oldest person here. And, I'll just put it out there. I'm 65 years old and I went on a 600 plus mile bicycle ride over 3 weeks this summer through Colorado, Utah, and Montana, and it's just like, that's what I want to tell people is I'm no fantastic athlete. I have not been a fantastic athlete for my entire life. I just put the pieces in place and continue to do what I need to do every day in my life so that I can live the kind of life that I want to live and do the things that I want to be able to do until the day I die. That's what I live. That's how I model it. And that's what I try to teach my clients.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, I have to piggyback off. I think really what's happened is that we've been given permission for the first time in most of our lives to pause. We've been given permission, right, to really shift our mindset into what is it that we really want. And so to answer your question directly, John, very much similar to Lisa, I mean, I overcame multiple autoimmune diseases. So I was looking at a 6-month-old baby diagnosed with chronic fatigue, then fibromyalgia, then Hashimoto's, and let me just give you the list. And once I began on that journey that did not involve mind-altering prescription drugs, I might add, and I began on that journey, I ultimately was able to give birth to twins, which they said I would never be able to do. Didn't carry them full term, but I gave birth to them and they're happy and healthy to this day. And what I really see is that I can be through my story, just like Lisa indicated, right? Through our story, we do give that hope, but ultimately we give that permission that you are as valuable as I was. And like Leslie indicated, to really show them you can do this. I mean, she's 65 going hundreds of miles. I mean, seriously, get off the couch, people. You know what I mean? Get off the couch. Right. And so that's what I do. I'm very much similar. I'm giving permission and I'm helping individuals shift their mindset, whether that is through my shamanic work that I'm doing it, whether that's through a practitioner relationship with money, right? You should earn money. You need to earn money, or whether that's with somebody new that's wanting to open a DPC, a direct primary care, whatever that is I'm really standing in that gap for them. And I really think that's what Leslie and Lisa both are saying, right? Is that we stand in that gap for our client, whatever that looks like, whomever that client is, giving them permission, pushing that, what I call that letter across the table, saying, stand in your power. And what makes your heart sing? Because we are in a world right now that if you're not living your purpose, you will be ill, period. Ill, period. I mean, I can, we can go Dispenza, Lipton, Alexander Lloyd. I mean, we can go through all of it, right? And so I really admire, Lisa, your journey, and Leslie, your journey. And I believe as we continue to tell our story, but also give tangible, implementable tools and techniques to these people, everybody around, including each other. That's the key. So really permission and shifting the mindset. That's my answer, John, my final answer.
And obviously you stand by it.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually want to wrap this up fairly soon. From each of you, one actionable step that somebody could take on this journey. We've used the word, empowering yourself to actually own yourself and own your health. What actionable step could someone take? And actually, nothing's coming to mind now except for go for a walk. But
and that's a valuable one.
Yeah. Walk. And nature, in my opinion, is the great balancer. If you're not feeling good, just get out in nature, because nature is in balance largely. But I could go on and on about that, but I'm not going to. But one actionable step that anybody could take to immediately gain a sense of health improvement.
I got it. I got one. Clarity. Get clarity. What does that really look like? I mean, you can make your New Year's resolution every year to release weight, but you don't do anything about it because that's not really what you want, right? To really look yourself in the mirror for the first time, tell yourself you love yourself 1,000,000 times until you don't cry, and get clarity. What do you really want? Not the projections from growing up and your partner and the dog next door. No offense to your dog, Lisa. But what is it? Clarity. What is it you really want? You're praying to God, universe, you're asking, but your calendar doesn't reflect it, and you take a right turn at Albuquerque every time you say it. So that's self-sabotage. So you really don't have clarity.
So from my perspective, it begs the question, how do you gain clarity? As an example, when I was studying NLP and stuff, the guy that was teaching was really good. And he had this small bottle, and it had just water in it and some like clay. And he would use it as a metaphor to help me get clear. He would take the bottle that was sitting there like, and you could see the little clay in the bottom, and he would simply shake it, and it would get like foggy in there, and he would pass it off to me and say, make it clear. So how do you get clarity, Angie? Simply put.
What I process is I guide folks through, but simply put, be quiet, listen, and keep asking yourself, if I knew the answer, it would be, and what comes to you.
I love that one, actually.
It's one of my favorite NLP.
Yeah, it is an NLP thing. It's like if you did know, what would it be?
Right.
Exactly.
Just kind of piggybacking off of what Angie said, if you can't figure it out for yourself, find a coach that can help you. But where I wanted to go with what people can do, I tend to deal a lot more in the physical realm. So I'm going to say, start examining what you're putting on the end of your fork and what you're putting into your body, and look at it from the perspective of, is this a substance that was meant for the human body? 90% of the physical ills that we run into are a result of all of the mechanized garbage that we eat.
Amen, sister.
And
Amen.
just start there. I'm not going to go down the tunnel of what foods to eat, what foods not to eat. I'm just going to say, we all know what real food is. One of the things that I tell people is, pretend that you're some native from the outbacks of Australia or, South America or somewhere, and walk into the grocery store as though you've never seen a grocery store before. What do you recognize as food? You're going to recognize your fruits, your veggies, your beans, your whole grains, your legumes, your nuts. Maybe you'll recognize the meat, although you're used to seeing it in a different format. You'll recognize that as food. All that stuff in the middle of the store, you're not going to recognize as food. Leave it there.
God, that is so simple and wise. All right. So next time I go shopping, I'll go around the edge, right?
Perimeter, yeah.
Actually, I noticed Trader Joe's actually does the same thing. Pretty much, all the good stuff's on the outside.
Yeah, that's standard.
Yeah. Okay, Lisa.
Lord Louis, he's not here. Wonderful tips already, and piggybacking off both of them, actually, when you're talking about the garbage, Leslie, garbage of what you're putting in your body or on your body, and also picking up on what Angie said, it's the garbage of sometimes our thoughts as well, and it's, how that can impact on our physical well-being. So there's a hybrid of everything that everyone said, and John, you shaking that bottle and the stillness of when that bottle settles down and you get clarity again. For me, when I'm working with clients, I do a mini meditation and I get them to put their hand on their heart, and I say, just close your eyes for a minute and just take a deep breath, and just take some deep breaths and just drop to your heart, and then just ask yourself, what do I need to know next? What do I need to do next? Who's going to be in my path next? And just wait and watch and notice. And when we are still enough for long enough and we drop to our heart for answers, that's when the ideas pop in. That's when I call it, we're connected to cosmic Google. It's like we're connected to our Wi-Fi. We're connected to home. Home is where, our heart is. And that's where we're connected to all this intuition and the knowing what's right for us in that right moment, because we're all unique and we're all individual. And when we go to our heads, that's when we disconnect from our Wi-Fi, and no answers live there. That's the murkiness in the bottle. And the stillness in the heart, it's literally just saying, just sit for 5 minutes, whether that's out in nature, like you say, John, or just in a peaceful location where you feel happy and comfortable. And just breathe and just ask your heart, what do I need to know next? What's going to serve me next? Who can I speak to next? Because like Leslie says, sometimes it's about reaching out to a coach or a practitioner. And like Angie says, sometimes we just know. So just ask your heart and it'll give you the answer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds like it also takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pause.
Patience. Pause.
Power.
If you're using a calendar to schedule everything, make sure you get yourself on the calendar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Basically, what we're doing here is we're speaking to future Lisa Victoria, future Angie Ates, and future Leslie Kasanoff, all co-hosts on Alternative Health Tools, the podcast, where you can get this wherever you get your audio, which is really fantastic. So thank you for being here. I know, Lisa, you had to get up really early, right?
No,
you
I'm
didn't.
late.
It's the
Yeah,
afternoon.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Oh, I'm
It's the
sorry.
end of her day.
No, I'm good. I'm all good.
Okay, I screwed that up. I must be human. All right. See you all next time.
All right. God bless.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.